G'day all and welcome back to the Freo Faithful podcast, episode 22. And Lord Meek was in the change rooms after that win over the Pies. And I'm not sure where Shane Kirsten was, but he's probably somewhere in the country enjoying his life. Zach, what did we just see?
Well, I think Shane Kirsten's still celebrating that goal against North Melbourne. Rumour has it he's still running laps around Subiaco Oval. But what did we see, mate? Well, we saw probably the greatest win outside only finals game in the Dockers' history, which is a massive call. Recency bias is probably playing a massive role in what I just said, but I cannot remember many better games than that besides the Geelong qualifying final win and, of course, the prelim win. But that was just off the charts, mate. Absolutely unbelievable.
It was ridiculous. It was infectious is the word I'd use. I'm not sure how this podcast is sort of going to go because whenever we film the pod, it's usually a day or two after the game. This is really fresh. Game ended 4 hours ago. Pod's getting up Monday morning for you lot. I'm still just elated. I cannot believe we actually pulled that off. During the week, I had some confidence. The fan base had a bit of confidence. It was more excitement than confidence, I'll be honest. It was like there's a free hit to do something really special against the best team in the comp. At the ground, you have to win the grand final at. And coming off the back of that game, we have now stamped our foot on the premiership race, on the top four race. But I didn't say we're winning the premiership. I said you have to be in the premiership race. The race, look, in F1, there are 20 drivers in a race. A lot of the time, the drivers who finish P19 and P20 every single week are not even close to winning it. But we are definitely in the race, no matter how many cars we've got running in it. There's got to be a chance because that was insane.
Yeah, I'd put us as we've gone from maybe like a Haas team sort of to a Mercedes in the past 8 weeks. So yeah, we're definitely stalking the pack. Hopefully, we can make the evolution to the McLaren sort of areas in a few coming weeks. But that is I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words, to be honest. I was watching the game and it was like sort of what we thought would happen was going to happen. Like, oh, this could be an honourable loss. We're getting peppered. We were like standing tall. Effort was there. Like they kicked the first 2 goals in the last quarter. I was like, just okay. It looks like we're going to lose this. Just let's not just get battered. And then bang, that happened. And I couldn't believe my eyes, to be honest, mate. Once again, 2 weeks in a row, the whole team in the last quarter put their heart and their body on the line. We executed under pressure again, which is something we haven't been good at. So some people might have said last week was a fluke. We've done it again. So I'm not sure what else we can do to, as you said, put ourselves in the premiership race, mate. And even the top 4 race. This was the game which I had us down. I think everyone had us down for a loss. We're probably fixated us in maybe the 6 to 8 range, even 9 still. But yeah, I think we be doing I think we should be making the finals from here, mate. We really should be. So that's one tick. We actually make the finals to win the premiership, so that's half the challenge. Hopefully done now.
Well, yeah, the good thing is we've never crumbled in the last 5 games of a season. Being in a really good spot and dropping out to finish 9th or 10th. It's a good thing we've never done that, and we've never had a history of doing it. So
never lost games we should have won either.
Yeah. Exactly right. So you realistically can book the bus. There's no way we follow the 8 from here. If opposition fans are listening to this will be really insufferable. So apologies. But we're going to enjoy this because that was one of the most incredible games of football I've ever seen. Now, on the fan cams, I was sort of discussing how it's so hard to even talk about a game like this from an analytical perspective. But we sort of have to because we got an hour to fill.
Tried my best here.
Yeah. So it was very different to the game we played against them earlier this season, I thought. Yeah. Not necessarily how the coaches set it up, but more so how it played out. So obviously the famous numbers, plus 29 inside 50s in round 9 versus Collingwood earlier this year. Today, we were minus 23 inside 50s, complete other end of the spectrum. And it was very, very evident from quarter 1 to probably quarter 3 that they were just peppering us with field position.
Oh, yeah, they were peppering us and they're locking it in too. They had 35 tackles inside 50, which is the most of any team this year. So, we only had 9, but I can't really criticize it because the ball was barely down there. I don't know. I don't have it on me. I should have looked it up. The possession, not possession, but the territory. I don't know. They would have had the ball in their forward 50. I'm guessing it had to at least be 65% ish. I reckon.
Yeah, would have been.
The ball just lifted. It was hard to watch for most part. You're just waiting for the damn ball to burst, but. Unbelievably, and credit to the entire back 7, it didn't burst. But yeah, their pressure was off the charts. As I just said, 35 tackles inside 50 alone. That's just ridiculous. So many repeat stoppages. They're a good stoppage team, and we just didn't burst, mate. It was defensive efforts. I'll say this was the best win we've had in a long time, but I think that's honestly maybe the best we've defended in a long time as well. It was just, unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable effort.
Yeah, the team defense was probably what we built the game off, because there was no reason we should have been in that game with those inside 50 numbers and whatnot. And yeah, as I said, it was like a complete switch over from the game in round 9, because we got very limited opportunities for the ball, and our forwards absolutely made the most of it. Jamie Elliott kicked 6 in round 9. We've got our own bloke called Paddy Voss who kicked 6 with limited opportunities today. Talk to me about Paddy and just that entire forward makeup, because to have that little of the ball in your forward half and to still be so switched on mentally, I think it's a real testament to that forward group.
Well, yeah, Paddy Voss. So he kicked 6 goals, 1, and the one he missed, it was probably one of the easiest chances he had besides one in the goal square. So he should have kicked 7, but if you're only going to miss one set of Paddy Voss, his set shot kicking's been troublesome.
He should have kicked 8 because Freddie burnt him in the last quarter as well.
Oh, yep, don't mention that one. But yeah, he had 6 goals, 8 score involvements. He had 4 inside 50s. He wasn't just playing like deep; he was getting up the ground a bit too. He had 5 marks inside of 50. All of them were uncontested. So he just torched Darcy Moore. Now, full credit to Darcy Moore. He's not a lock for the Australian team, but he's definitely in the squad at the moment. He's got made to look like, I'm trying to think of a niche, like, terrible fullback. I can't even think of one.
Terrible. You've really put us both on the spot there to try and think of a niche, terrible fullback.
You get my point.
Yeah, gotcha.
It was the worst game he's played this year, Darcy Moore, and I don't watch Collingwood religiously, but I'm not sure he had. I think maybe 4 of those goals are kicked on Darcy Moore, because obviously Maynard switched on to him. So I think it was 4. I doubt Darcy Moore's had 4 kicked on him this year. So yeah, Pat Voss, that's unbelievable. Now I wanted to look at like first 6 goal hauls in our forwards career. So Paddy Voss is 21 years and 1 month old. 6 goals. Jai's only kicked 4 before, so I can't put him there. But Josh Tracy, his first 6 goal hauls this year, and he was 22 years and 9 months. So Voss is projecting well. Like, I'm not saying he's going to kick 6 goals every second week, but the fact he can get to this level against such a good team. No, sorry. Sorry, not every second week, every week he'll be kicking 6 goals. But the fact he can perform like that at such a young age for a key forward, like, he doesn't look like a 22-year-old. Like, the way he behaves and the way he's built, you'd think he might be like 26, but he's 22. And the fact that all of our key forwards under the age of 24, and they can perform at this level against such a good defense, then yeah, lid is well and surely off. Actually, the lid's gone missing. It's gone that far off the bottle. So, Paddy Voss, best game of his career, and yeah, unbelievable.
Lids into the stratosphere. I've actually got a few lids just sitting on the table at the moment. This is supposed to be on something, but as soon as the final siren went, I yammed against the wall next to me. The lids have never been further off. Now, talking about Paddy Voss, but the forward structure allowed him to flourish. And I feel like week after week, the 3 tall structure playing a very, very selfless role for each other and letting at least one of the forwards flourish for themselves. So I was watching First Crack just then before we started filming, and Jai Amos was getting criticised a bit for, why is he not the spearhead? And, they're saying he might be a bit disappointed that he's not that guy that Paddy Voss was today. But from what I saw, he created space so well, kicked 2 goals of his own. I reckon that was Jai's best game in a matter of weeks. And Josh Tracy, when you get him around the ball like he tended to be a lot during the game, he's just very clean at ground level, very clean with his disposal. He's almost a Jackson with a little bit less polish, but still enough to get the job done.
Yeah, no, I was watching. Obviously, when you just recording this after the game, so I don't have enough time to watch like decent amount of highlight stuff in it. But like they were showing during the game a bit of times, like Tracy and Amos intentionally leading their defenders out the way so Voss can take more on the lead, which is just that is obviously good by Voss. But the coaching effort shouldn't go unnoticed as well. And I think our forwards coach is Jamie Graham, is it? Or is he the midfield coach?
Yeah, no, he's
the forwards coaches. That is obviously Todd Curley's opposition analysis, South Fremantle legend. He's obviously seen a flaw.
Of course, you know that.
Seen a flaw in Darcy Moore's game and gone exploit this one, Vossy. And I was listening to JL said he tried to do the same thing on Sicily last week, which I think Sicily wasn't that good. And Vossy didn't get rewarded for it. But this week, not only has he limited Darcy Moore's impact in the game, he's kicked 6 goals. So, yeah, great coaching, very good execution, not only by Voss, but the rest of our tall forwards as well, mate. It was, a great team effort, but the forward line especially, they functioned very well, I thought.
Unfortunately, it doesn't get any better for Vossy. He's got the terrifying prospect of Harry Edwards coming up this Saturday. So keep Vossy in your prayers.
Harry Edwards.
But he's a good player. But if we're talking about All-Australians, got Darcy Moore and previous All-Australian James Sicily that he's just torn to shreds, then I don't think Harry Edwards will be much for him. the tall forward group worked together so well, but we went in with a significantly taller lineup, which meant it was an interesting game for the smalls. Now, obviously, Matt Johnson went down injured, so it begs the question, is Isaiah Dudley the replacement? Are we going to bring in Erasmus or a Sharp or whatnot? But if it is Dudley, it would be sort of, I'm in the same boat. If we do bring in Dudley, it sort of changes up the forward mix completely yet again, because we were much taller today. It outstretched an undersized Collingwood back line. Maynard was having to play third key defender, and it absolutely worked. And I thought our smalls, in particular, it was the pressure that they brought that was their real value. Murphy didn't kick a goal, brought great pressure. Freddie and Switter, obviously, the exact same. What do you find in our sort of forward half pressure?
Just about Murphy Reid and pressure, I did say last week that Murphy Reid was the incumbent of Scott Pendlebury and David Mundy. That tackle on Scott Pendlebury.
Oh my God, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Gee whiz, what a tackle. And how he didn't get a free kick from Maynard shoving him into the boundary, not in the boundary, into the bench. Laughable. Disgraceful.
Can I just go on a quick rant very, very, very quickly before you get back to forward half pressure? Fourth quarter, Collingwood fans are absolutely adamant that the umpires cost them the game. I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it across some of the biggest Collingwood fan channels. They are absolutely adamant. As you just mentioned, Murphy Reid pushed into the bench, obviously a free kick against, because why would you get a free kick for being pushed into the dugout? Luke Jackson told to play on while on his line for no particular reason, nearly cost us the game. Lucky Myercheck missed a set shot. But geez, umps, are we serious? That fourth quarter, it was so poorly officiated. I did not know whether I was watching AFL or Waffle Colts. It was a really, really hard watch from an officiating point of view. And the grey area in the game with so many of these decisions isn't even applicable to some of the things we saw in that fourth quarter. There's no grey area in pushing someone into the boundary. Does he get a free kick or doesn't he? It's a free kick. There's no grey area in not being on your line and being told to play on. It's just not play on. These umpires are making problems for themselves that don't even exist. And I am baffled at how poorly officiated not just the fourth quarter was, but the entire game.
Yeah, it was bad both ways the second week in a row, mind you. It was terrible last week as well. So, but the Jackson one, gee whiz, my TV remote was like shaking in its boots when it saw me marching over to the coffee table. Oh, God almighty, I was angry when that happened. But yeah, as some would say, we defied the match fixing, so that was good to see. But the last quarter, I think like Brayshaw in the last quarter, he was sticking tackles. Actually, this could be a great segue into the King Hayden Young in the last quarter. If you want to go there now, oh gee whiz! But he tackled, but Hayden Young in the last quarter, just a casual 7 disposals, 4 contested, 2 goal assists, 4 score involvements, and the greatest handball I think I've seen for a long time. One on the wing where he's just absolutely gone over his shoulder and I think Switter he hit Switter in stride, not looking over his head. Switter marches down the field and kick a goal. But wow, welcome back, Hayden Young, mate. Like I didn't forget how good he was, but watching him play just goes, we're lucky to have him to bring into the side for the back end of the season.
I tell you what, at three-quarter time or even now, I'd never felt more like a premiership contender in my life. We just rock up to play the best team in the comp at the MCG, stick in the game for 3 quarters, fight our way back, stick in the game for 3 quarters, and then we realize, who's our substitute? Just a tactical. So, Hayden Young. Yeah, bring Hayden Young as a sub against Collingwood at the MCG. And we could do it without him, and he was just the cherry on top. It was just a brilliant performance from Hayden Young. And we can sort of tie that into the Matt Johnson replacement, who we just sort of briefly touched on. I think we are both in agreement with Erasmus, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you assume Young goes into the full game, which he can take Johnson's role as such, and then maybe you do go Dudley as a sub or Erasmus. I assume we're going to be replacing somebody who's going to play sub. So, I don't think Sharp's a good sub option. I don't know if Erasmus is a great sub option. I guess he's a big body. I think it's between Erasmus. I think Dudley had 20 touches and 2 goals for Peel. So
Dudley was really good. Yeah, kicked 2 rippers as well.
Maybe it is Dudley who comes in as sub. But if Young wasn't playing as a midfield swap, it'd go Erasmus. But now thinking about it, Young probably goes into the team, and maybe Dudley comes back as sub, which is maybe better than Erasmus, but it's a 50-50. I guess.
If we're basing it off waffle form, it should be Dudley, because every time he goes back down there, he performs really well, and he's not really put a many feet wrong at AFL level. It's just he sometimes is a bit quiet, but there's never really a glaring mistake whenever he plays in the senior side. So nothing wrong with Dudley coming into the team, whether that's as sub or in the 22, most likely a sub. Now, if we're saying Young comes into the 22, which is the likely thing, that 5 will be a test for the Derby. Now, rushing that 5 back's probably rushing that 5 back's probably the worst thing to do, but he's also not going to play waffle. We're not going to play him waffle again. We just want to get him in the... No, we didn't do it before Gold Coast. We might give him another week, but I think Fifey's going to come back in as the sub, and he's going to have a big impact again. I'm not sure whether it's going to be the West Coast game or the Carlton game or even the Port game, but I think that's the direction we might go in.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, but I didn't know if Fife was going to be available this week or not. You're the training pundit, mate, so I assume you'll have be able to inform me how he's looking. But yeah, if Fife comes back, then he probably is a sub. But if Fife's not back, I'll guess it'll be Dudley. But yeah, it's hard to say. If Fife's available, you think it'd be him. But yeah, otherwise Dudley for me.
I tell you what, if I'd never watched the Fremantle Football Club before and I was just going to training every single week, I'd think Nat Fife is a half marathon runner, because the bloke is just running nonstop. Poor bloke is in the rehab group weekly. So I'm not actually sure how he's looking from a footballing sense, but it'd be great to get the man back in the team, whether that's a sub or whatnot. We're talking midfield. We've probably got to talk about Caleb Serong, because I will be fuming if this bloke doesn't get the 3 votes.
Agree. Yeah, what do you have? 37 disposals, 16 contested, a goal assist, 9 score involvements, 9 clearances, 7 inside 50s, and 5 rebound 50s too. So when the ball was trapped in our back line, he was getting his hands to it and trying his best to get it out of our D50. All round game from Serong. I even like that set shot. I was like, oh, not in his repertoire, but he slotted it. I couldn't fault him in the last quarter. 12 disposals in the last quarter. In the last quarter, 12 disposals, 7 contested, 4 score involvements, 3 clearances, and 2 inside 50s. So he loves the last quarter, Serong, but I thought the entire game today he was very, very good, and he has to get the 3 votes. Has to.
Were Collingwood arrogant for not tagging
him? Well, maybe. I don't know. But they don't really have a tagger. That's the problem.
Well, they can. Any team, if they need to tag someone, can find a tagger. I'm sure Ned Long has done roles before. I'm not calling Collingwood an arrogant team by any means. I think they're just managing themselves very, very well throughout the back end of this season. But the first key to beating Fremantle, surely, it was said a few weeks ago on some show, but on Monday, week of playing Fremantle, you circle Caleb Serong's name, and that's who you go to, and that's who you shut down. There was no job done on Jordan Clark either, who I thought had yet another brilliant game. Yes, the game sort of played out a bit differently to maybe a typical Jordan Clark game where he can just rebound and impact multiple times. Exactly. So I think Jordy Clark impacted in his own way, so maybe a role wasn't really needed on him. But not tagging Serong was baffling. We didn't really tag Dacos. Wagner went to him for a bit, but 43 touches, I don't think he was overly damaging. No, I'm not sure.
No. I agree. I think Serong's the best player on the ground. So Dacos was good, not slandering his game, but I think his stats do look a bit padded. If you watch the game, you look at his stats and went, oh, wow, what a game. I think if you watched it, you would have probably thought, okay, maybe that's a little bit of an inflated statistics for what his output was, but not taking Dacos, we can't really knock it now, can we? He was playing in the back line. You can start scoring chains in the back line, but he's not as damaging. He played good Dacos, but not. I think I've written. JL said we tried to tag him, but when he started taking kickouts and starting in the back pocket and stuff, it came a bit hard too. So look, we can't really. If we'd lost by a point, I probably would have a different answer for you. But I thought it was the right move. What we did, took him on in the midfield without doing any defensive roles, and I thought we won the battle, mate.
Exactly right. Now you just mentioned Nick Dacos was in the back line. Our back line held up very, very well, considering, as I just mentioned, minus 23 inside 50s. I've sort of reflected a little bit, and during the game I was criticizing Oscar McDonald. Carl Warner got tactically subbed off for some of his antics. I think our team defense as a whole, I'm not going to criticize anybody. The unit and the sort of solidarity between whoever went back there and the different dynamics, even Bailey Banfield rolling out of the back pocket, having his left foot in certain situations is so important. And I've got a lot of confidence now that he will hit a target when he needs to. and he's been a whipping boy over the years, but he's found a role, and he had one bad game last week. And apart from that, he's been flawless in the back line since he's gone back there. Big shout out to Banners and big shout out to just the entire sort of team defensive unit.
He did make a few little blunders, Banners, when they had the ball in hand, but I will give him his flowers. His kick to Hayden Young in the corridor in the last quarter is the best kick of Banfield's career. That was unbelievable. I think his disposal is okay, but sometimes like you watch him, like he thinks he's got more time than he has. Like sometimes you're watching him, he's like got the ball, like, looking for options. He's getting hunted down and just doesn't seem unfazed, which, okay, fair enough, Banners, you're confident, mate. But that corridor kick to Hayden Young, oh gee, weirdly, because I actually started slapping my face, making sure I hadn't fallen asleep and was dreaming, because that was that good of a kick. So yeah, Banfield, mate, I'll give him his credit. He was good today, Banfield. Definitely did his role. I didn't notice him get beaten defensively at all either. But when he got the ball, more times than not, made a good decision with it.
Very, very good. Brennan Cox, best game of his season. What did you see from him?
Just stability, mate. He looked as lethargical as ever, but he wasn't beaten. I think, he was held up very well. We wrote about Jamie Elliott, Luke Ryan. Take your hat off, mate, and take a bow as well. Elliott, one free kick was from an absolutely diabolical push in the back decision. And the other goal was a soccer. The other goal was a soccer off the ground, wasn't it? I think it was like a half volley off the ground. Elliott kicked. So Luke Ryan was not beaten by Jamie Elliott. Absolutely brilliant by Ryan. Obviously, learnt his lessons from last time we played them. But Cox, as you said, best game of the season. Banfield, good. McDonald, oh gee whiz, he just needs to learn what kicks to bite off and what kicks just to hoof it down the line. But he wasn't terrible defensively. Clark, I'm looking at defensive half pressure acts. He led the game with 22. So, Clark was very good. I can't knock any of the defenders, mate. Some of the disposal issues, which were present last week, didn't really change, but they weren't as bad. But sometimes, I think that's the only issue some defenders have is when to kick and who to kick to.
I think disposal is the criticism with Omar, because as you just mentioned, he didn't really get beaten defensively. But the other option is Josh Draper, and he's not giving us that much more, really. So I don't really have a problem. We just don't have a great third string fullback at the moment, and we're just going to have to deal with who we've got on the list.
As far as third string fullbacks go, McDonald's probably one of the better ones in AFL, so we can't be too critical.
Absolutely. Our depth is very good down there.
His disposal just sometimes makes me want to close my eyes when he kicks it, but that's an easy fix. Just tell him, mate, you're not that guy. Just hoof it down the line. But defensively, the entire team to absorb as much pressure as we did and only concede that little score was unbelievable, mate. Very, very good. As a whole, the defense is very good. They 34 intercepts, which is +2 from last week. 33 rebound 50. So we absorbed the ball, got rid of it most of the time and intercepted it. So mate, as a whole, back seven, that's probably, would you say it's our best defensive game of the year?
Well, it has to be. The stats, the cauldron of the MCG, the team we were playing, also the stats might not show it's our best defensive game of the year. We might have had a random game. It was, fantastic defensively. But in terms of the situation, you've just got to watch that game for what it is. And, our defensive unit held up beautifully.
Speaking about more midfielders, when you mentioned Serong, but what do you think about O'Meara, mate? I thought, he was good today. In the last quarter as well, I thought he was good. He kicked one of the flukiest goals ever. But, I thought he's a big body we missed, mate. Obviously, Fop's a big body, so he's young. But O'Meara just does his job. He played a lot on the wing today. But, no, he's getting on in age. But he covers the ground all right still. I think O'Meara's underrated, mate. Very good game.
Really good game by Jaeger. I noticed that as well. You just go back to when he came back in the team, the last quarter and a half that he played against Sydney, he was statistically our best midfielder. Hawthorn last week set the most physical game we've borderline ever played statistically, 103 tackles. And that might not be the eye test, but statistically, I can't really think of a time we last laid 103 tackles. Jaeger was a part of that, and he was a big presence in that injury room. And yet again, a super physical game, and he was actually getting the ball a fair bit as well. And his ball usage is so good. Whenever we speak about who we want to pick in that midfield, a lot of the time we always fall back to Jaeger because you sleep well knowing that the ball's in Jaeger O'Meara's hands. You're always pretty confident he's going to make the right decision, whether it's by foot or by hand. I was also a big fan of Jaeger's game.
He just doesn't do anything stupid. He knows what he's capable of and sticks to it. Doesn't try to do any ridiculous I'm going to kick it through 10 people and hit someone on the chest sort of stuff. He's just reliable, does his job, hands it off to better ball users if he needs to, or kicks goals. Which I don't even know how much you can credit him for that goal. It was that lucky, but it was a good kick. But the context of the game, that goal, that would never happen to the Dockers usually. Like, that ball would not bounce over to Collingwood's fingertips like that. So maybe this is our year. So what do you think about the ruckman today, mate? Obviously, it's a bit hard to talk about Darcy versus Darcy Cameron. It sounds like I'm talking about the same person. But Sean Darcy, I thought in the ruck battles, he held his own very well. Got 6 clearances, which is a very good output from him. I thought around the ground, Darcy Cameron was very good, but I think he's one of the better ruckmen, if not the best at intercept marking. But I thought Sean Darcy, mate, is continuing to now. He's gotten back towards his best form. Now he's holding his best form. And Darcy Cameron's no easy opponent. I thought he was very, very serviceable, Sean, today.
I thought it was quite even in the middle, to be honest. I think each ruckman on the ground brought their own sort of little quirk, except for Mason Cox. Forgot the bloke was playing. But yeah, I think in the ruck contest, I think we may have had slight ascendancy. The hit out count was, I don't really have it on me right now. It was 32 to 29, Cameron or Darcy.
Yeah.
And then Luke Jackson had 10 of his own. So it's basically 39 to 32 if you're taking Cox out of the equation. Yeah, I think they both sort of brought different dynamics. Obviously, Darcy Cameron had the better game around the ground, I thought. Whenever we tried to go up the line, he was in the right position. And, there are so many. You could pick like 5 ruckmen in the All-Australian team this year. He's another one banging the door down. I think he'll be in the squad. He's had a career best and unbelievable year. I hope we're not playing him in a derby next year. But yeah. I thought our rucks held up really well against, Darcy Cameron, really well positioned down the line. But in the ruck contest, Darcy whacking it down Serong's throat more often than not was massive. When Darcy Cameron got ascendancy, though, he was knocking it down Dacos's throat. So I thought it was a really even battle. Jackson gave us the different dynamic, which was really important out of there. Whether he was roving or rucking, he's just an extra big body in the contest. So I thought that was really, really important, and it just gives us playing these 2 rucks. Like, I think the jury's decided this is the right call. Like the 2 ruck thing's working every week at the moment. It hasn't been a conversation for about 5 weeks now, and we're still only scratching the surface, and we're really starting to dig into what these 2 blokes can do. Obviously, Dogger ended up kicking the game-winning goal. Darcy floated forward to kick another goal of his own. So yeah, they're working in tandem beautifully, mate. And against a great ruckman like Darcy Cameron, I thought it was a really, really good victory out of the sort of ruck department.
Is Sean Darcy our best set shot for goal in the team?
Yes, he is. Him and Stamster are our 2 best set shots. I'm adamant. I've never been more confident than when Sean Darcy goes back to live on goal. 45 outside angle. Always looks like it's going off to the right for some reason. Always looks like he shanked it, but he never misses. He's a dead eye.
No. Well, the ruckman, 31 touches, 2 goals, 39 hit-outs, 10 tackles, 11 score involvements, and 8 clearances from 2 ruckmen who apparently don't work together. Well, that's not too bad then. But besides from that, one thing I wanted to note, I just thought about it as we were speaking about the back 6. Luke Ryan, I don't know if I saw, I assume he does it every week, but he's on-field leadership today, like on the camera all the time on the TV. I was watching pretty intently, but you just see him, mate. He literally just generals around everybody. And I think Luke Ryan, despite being All-Australians twice, I think he's underrated. Like, my word. He's like, I don't know. Let's put it in my head randomly. It probably sounds a bit odd talking about his commands on the field, but I just saw it a lot in the background on TV today, just marching people around. He shows he's probably the most heart and sleeve player in our team, mate. No one looks more frustrated than him when we concede a goal. No one looks happier than him when we win or kick a goal. Like, if we had 22 people like Luke Ryan in our team who cared for as much as he does, I'm not saying no one else cares, but to level of care he has, then I think we'd never lose a game. But Luke Ryan, just what a player. What a player.
I think if we had 22 Luke Ryans, we'd be quite one-dimensional. So if Jay was thinking about picking 22
people with the same personality as Luke Ryan, not the skill set, the personality.
But we've sort of got a leader in every line now, don't we? I think it's very evident every week that Luke Ryan's a brilliant vocal
I just
leader.
noticed it more this week.
Yeah. Well, Josh Tracy's come into his own this year in terms of his leadership. Sam Switkowski, I think the players really look up to, or if most of our guys' case look down to. But Switter's a really good leader. And yeah, it's just growing week by week. Like I was sort of thinking about the Essendon game straight after that game last year. And I was just thinking, we have grown so much. Like that Essendon game would have been close to a year ago on the day. Very, very close, maybe just under a year. And it was sort of a full circle moment. That Essendon game, Serong and Brayshaw, their leadership was deplorable. I was absolutely furious with how easily they let some really inexperienced Essendon mids just win the clearance for fun. You know, that final clearance, the setup was terrible. And a lot of blokes just crumbled under pressure in front of 30,000 Essendon fans, right? We just rocked up 70,000 Collingwood fans, top of the table, and we've shown our composure all day. We don't have a lot of chances. Like, composure is hard to be shown when Collingwood are bringing that forward pressure that they brought in the first half. But for the most part, late on, when the game was in the balance, everybody showed composure and they showed they can play on the big stage. It's full circle from the 2022 semi-final, and it's full circle from the Essendon game last year. I think today represented so much more than just the 4 points. I think it represented... I think the shift in the tide was last week. We said it on last week's pod. The game last week felt transformational, and I think we're really starting to put that into work.
So you mentioned Switter at the start of your little brick wall sort of fearing speech again, but Switter, 14 touches, 5 tackles, 5 marks, 1 goal assist, 6 score involvements, 2 clearances, 2 inside of 50s at 100% disposal efficiency. He's the best link-up player in the AFL. I'll say it again, the most underrated player in the AFL.
I'd say the best player in the AFL, but that might be going a bit too far.
I might say the best player in ever. That's as far as I would go. But,
the thing is,
no.
We'll clip that up. That is going mega on Reels or whatever the Instagram platform is.
He's just so good, mate. He just gets the job done. And even I always feel the ball safe when it's in his hands, or he gets 14 touches and he goes at 100% efficiency and gets 6 score involvements while doing so. It wasn't just chipping it sidewards. He was taking the game on when he got it. He was using his legs, and I love Switter. He's one of my favourite players, and his tackling pressure, as per usual, was very good as well today. Most of our players were, but Switter, you just notice when he tackles, mate, he just hurls his body a bit Mitch Crowden-esque at people.
That's disrespectful to Sam Swikowski.
Sorry,
disrespectful to Mitch Crowden.
Yeah, Mitch Crowden, the greatest tackler of all time. But no, he's such an all-round player. He doesn't hit the scoreboard every week, which he's just for. He's got to hit the scoreboard, but he hits the scoreboard through his service to other people, mate. God, he's such a good player. He's so I actually kept thinking about the most important player of the Dockers, which we discussed last week, of Switter, and I honestly reckon he's probably in the top 3 because it just everything links so much better when he's playing, mate. God, he's such a great player, so underrated. Late draft pick too, wasn't he? Something in the 50s or 60s, was he?
73, pick 73. He was very, very late. Mitch Crowden just gives me so many Riley West vibes. I'm not sure why. He has a very, very strong chest mark. I think his ball usage in a time of dire need in the 2019-2020 areas was, I think, it was very, very serviceable, and he rarely missed a shot at goal. So if Mitch Crowden
didn't get money, to be fair,
he didn't. But Mitch Crowden, if you're listening, we haven't forgotten about your contribution at this football club. If we need a small forward at any point in the future, I don't think we will because we're cooking at the moment, but you're always welcome back through the doors at Coburn Arc, mate. I'm a big Mitch Crowden fan. Bit of a tangent considering we've just been the best team in the comp away from home, and Mitch Crowden's getting a speech, but that's okay.
I've just gone to look his stats up in the SANFL. Looks like he's gotten injured in round 6, hasn't played since. So I hope you're okay, spleen rupture. But yeah, Mitch Crowden, we'll not forget you. But
poor bloke.
No, I think we could talk about every player, mate. Also, we're not going to talk about every player. But is anyone new who we haven't mentioned yet? Any other player you can think of who stuck out to you?
I was about to. Didn't really stick out to me while the game was on, but in hindsight, we're lucky to have Murphy Reid. I'm not sure if we've ever mentioned Murphy Reid on this podcast before. I actually think he might be the least mentioned player on this player. We've given Aiden Riddle more mentions than this bloke.
Did you hear about that idiot who said he'd be next Lockie Neal? Who would say that?
Yeah, jeez, that was a very, very rogue take. But whoever did say that, I'd have to agree because yet again, some of his forward 50 kicking was absolutely unbelievable. We don't win that game without Murphy. We don't win that game without most of those players. So many of them just brought their own little niche skill set to that game and won it for us in their own little way. And Murphy Reid's kicking going forward, I think the one that really sticks out to me was the kick that was so good that Josh Tracy didn't even know how to mark it.
Yeah.
It was the set shot from 55 out that he disguised a perfect dart onto Josh Tracy's chest, and he wasn't even expecting a kick to be that good, and he just bounced off him.
Did you see his handball through Maynard's legs on the boundary, which Bolton almost kicked goal?
Oh my God. Mate, there are so many things he does you just forget about. I remember it now, but my God.
Yeah. You can't teach that, mate. That's something you can't teach. That bloke, I don't want to glaze him for a second week in a row.
No,
I
you
might have
will.
stuck on Gary
We've done it for
Ablett.
22 straight weeks, mate.
He could have the football IQ of Gary Ablett. There we go. I've said it there. But, oh, God, he's such a good player, mate. Every week he does something which makes you go, gee whiz, this bloke shouldn't be playing for the Dockers. It's that good. Like, it just doesn't fit the traditional Dockers way of going about it. But I hope he leads the charge. I think he's leading the charge of us becoming a different, or not different football team, but maybe the history of our club being a little bit different in the coming years to what it's previously been. But if we ever lose Murphy Reid, I'll probably will be curled up in a ball for maybe 2 years afterwards because, my word, mate, God. Wait till he plays midfield. That's all I'm going to say. Wait till he plays midfield.
And I think 2 years might be unders as well. I might be curled up in a ball till I die, to be honest. Like
Until he retires, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe put a lid on it. Maybe not till he dies. It's maybe a bit over the top. But yeah, Murphy is just a ridiculously good footballer. He's 18. Is he 18 still? I think he might be. He might have turned 19. I reckon he's still 18.
Who cares?
Who cares? He's a very young bloke who is just unbelievable at football. He's 19, but at AFL level,
19 in 10 days. So make sure you
he's
put his
18.
birthday post up. Yeah, 18. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll celebrate his birthday on next week's pod. That's
I might put 20 posts up on my story for his birthday.
I really hope.
I might actually send him a cake.
There's a couple of I'm not sure if I'll get this in. There's a couple of Reed's family members that follow Freo Faithful on Instagram. And I know they see all of our content because sometimes, Murph's mum will like a post or Murph's grandma will like a post. I really hope they don't listen to the podcast because they must just think, why are two blokes just for 50 minutes straight talking about our son in such a... I mean, it'd be a flattering manner, to be honest. We never say anything bad about Murph.
You'd never, ever catch me say a bad word about him. Nothing. Never, ever. Would I ever say anything even remotely bad about him?
You just put him in the same breath as Gary Ablett Jr., so certainly not bad, is it?
Forget you're lucky and he's Gary Ablett.
We went on a tangent about Murphy Reid there and his sort of IQ for the ball, among other things. The IQ of a few players had left a bit to be questioned, to be honest. Michael Frederick. So in the first half,
did he play today? No, I'm joking.
No. Yeah. The thing is, right, first half, I reckon he played pretty well. I reckon he sometimes, when the game starts, he struggles to get involved, pushing up off half forward, and he sort of gets a bit lost. I think he impacted the game from the get-go today. Went missing maybe in the third and maybe for most of the fourth, and it wasn't really his game. Like, it's very hard to impact when the game's been played out the way it was. But when you've got Paddy Voss, who's on track for 7, open, and when you've got Tracy/Amos open,
I was hoping you were going here.
Set shot open, with the game on the line, and you want to play hero ball 45 out. I love Freddie as much as the next bloke. Freddie's a very loved bloke in our fan base. Like, yes, we question some of the things he does, but he's an excitement machine. And we'll never forget the 2022 elimination final, the chase down tackle, the goal. We know what Freddie can bring to us on the big stage. He even kicked one in the semi-final in 2022 against Collingwood from the pocket that shouldn't have been kicked. He knows how to do it on the big stage. But playing hero ball in that situation, if we'd lost that game, we really would have looked back on that incident. We have to be better.
Mate, I think Tracy literally had 30 meters of space around him, and Voss was leading. There was more options than you could ever ask for. But look, I'm not going to get into it and tell you how much about it. He did go missing a bit during the game when he popped up when the game was there to be taken. And look, he tried to take it and didn't. But look, we won, so you can't. It's a bit of a what if, but yeah, that's another inconsistency. I'll knock him for it. I'm not going to go back onto it, but that's another one of these down games. And look, history says next week he'll kick 4 goals, which I hope he does. But look, yeah, that kick, I was again the TV remote was very scared, mate. But oh well, it's all well ends well, mate. All well ends well.
Anything else in the Pies game before we move on to the nightmare we've got coming up on Saturday?
No, I think we covered it all. Oh yeah, sorry, I got one more thing, which is absolutely talks about defense and offense in one. We lose the inside 50s 63-40. We win the marks inside 50s 8-9. Big tick defense, big tick attack. Very, very good.
Yeah, huge tick. Indeed. Big fan of that game as a whole. It's always good just rocking up to the MCG and beating the top of the table Pies and throwing a 70k. It's what we sort of do. We're a massive club. But, I'm
Another
not going to
week.
get too ahead of myself. Exactly. 1 week at a time. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Cliche central. Anyway, Saturday, I'm terrified. We play the 18th place West Coast Eagles, but geez, this could be anything.
Look, we need a percentage boost. I go, here we go, boys, 10-goal win. But if we won by a point, I'd be happy. Because this just has the writing. Everyone says Collingwood's our biggest test, Hawthorn's our biggest test, but this is the biggest test of the season. We've come off 2 massive wins, and now we're $1.02 against the Eagles. And look, as bad as this sounds, I would expect us to lose this game usually, just in the situation we've been in. But I think we will win. And if we don't win, then I don't even want to talk about that. But we just have to win. Just get the job done and move on. The fact it's West Coast and Carlton as well, it's just, this is the biggest test of the 2 weeks ever. If we win these next 2 games, we may never lose again.
No, genuinely. And that's not even a piss take. Like, this podcast certainly is for Fremantle fans. Like, there is no way an opposition fan is tuning into this and lasting more than 5 minutes, because we have been as insufferable as ever today. But genuinely, we may never lose again if we win in the next 2 weeks, because this is massive. These are 2 of our biggest bogey teams. And for a little while there, for a few years, we were cruising. We'd rock up to a derby, expect a 10-goal win, get a 10-goal win, and duck out. But ever since round 6, I think, like round 7, 2024, I have just been, I was already scarred by the West Coast Eagles Football Club, but I'm even more scarred now after what Harley did to us that day. It's got the hallmarks of dockery. West Coast just lost by 50 points to Richmond at home. We just beat the best team in the comp away at the MCG. I'm scared, but how are you feeling?
I'm confident, but speaking of dockery, how dockery is a time slot? When's the last time we had this time slot?
That's not even a dockery time slot. That feels like a Melbourne time slot. Like, this isn't. Perth games are never played at 2:15 on a Saturday.
I'm sure someone could answer the question. But I do not remember the last time the Dockers played at 2:15 on a Saturday.
I could tell you the question. I could tell you the answer. Sorry. I'm just going to confirm that right here, and I would be correct. Round 22 last year against Geelong.
Did we?
Last time. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, but, okay. Well, I sound like I just made it out that never happens, and it happened last year. But put it this way, it's rare. That's what I should say. It's a weird time slot, which is beyond the point. I don't care what time it is, what day it is. If we lose this game, then it almost undoes what we've done the last 2 weeks. It's just unlosable. Like this, as I said before, 1 point win. So what? Move on. Realistically, I'd love a 50-point win to boost our percentage, which will be vital. But yeah, it's hard to be. We should be confident, but if I honestly ask you, that confident? I don't know if you're going to tell me yes, because it's just got the writings of a loss. But yeah, we should win. Should win.
Absolutely should win, and I wouldn't be happy if we win by 1 point. We have to win by a lot. Like, percentage is becoming even more crucial. Gold Coast took a massive hit today against Adelaide. They were down by 50 at half time. They ended up losing by 61. They dropped about 6%. So they're below us on the ladder, but they're 4 points behind us with a game in hand. So the gap is now only about 6% between us and Gold Coast. So if we can try and close that
as well.
Exactly.
Same
so
gap
like
between us and the Giants, yeah.
Gold Coast, Giants, and Hawthorn, they're sort of the 3 we have to be battling with percentage for, because we're not going to catch a Geelong or Adelaide or whatnot on percentage. Brisbane have a weirdly low percentage, actually, for a team who's sitting in second. The teams for next week are going to be very interesting. Obviously, Collingwood were managing players left, right, and centre this week.
Do you think we could manage someone? Do you think we could manage someone this week?
We could, but we won't, and I don't want us to, because I want to. Look, it's their grand final, but in a way, it's our grand final too. Like, we might play in the proper grand final.
Resting Darcy, maybe?
Yeah, that's the one. I hadn't even thought about that. I think that's the one we could probably do. Week after, we play on a Sunday arvo, so it'll be an 8-day break. So we probably could do it. This is obviously a shorter turnaround now. We're traveling back from Melbourne and whatnot. I've got a feeling we will rest Darcy. Only thing is, they do play 2 rucks. So Bailey Williams and Matt Flynn.
That's a very, very loose use of the term ruckman.
They're not incredible, right? But I think given Paddy Voss has just kicked 6, and getting rid of Darcy would mean Vossy would have to chop out in the ruck a bit more. I think it would sort of break up the whole structure. So I could see us doing it, but 2 rucks plus keeping Vossy in his preferred position, I don't think we will.
Yeah, fair enough. It's not like we are. Yeah. Hypothetically, if they did, if they did rest Darcy, would you like to see Reedy come in to keep the structure the same?
Liam Reid. Oh, yeah. Is he injured still? No, he's off.
Double check.
He played on
Did
the
he
weekend
play?
for Peel, I think.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
48 hitouts and 20 touches. So yeah,
Okay.
not terrible.
Well, we could do that. I'd almost like that more than just bringing in an extra forward or extra midfielder or whatnot. Because with a full-time ruck in the team, it allows Jackson to float forward a little bit more. Players are over, gives us a lot more flexibility, and as you just said, keeps Vossy down in the forward line. So we very well could do a Liam Reedy. I can't believe we're actually discussing Liam Reedy's name.
Oh, it's all hypothetical. I'm not calling for this to happen. I'm just giving what could happen.
You would put the membership in the microwave if Liam Reedy doesn't play in the Derby this Saturday.
Yeah, if Liam Reedy doesn't play, then this channel will be deleted. I heard anything to do with Dockers in my house will be in the bin. Mate,
exactly right. Yeah, the club's dead to me if Liam Reedy doesn't play. I mean, there's probably not a chance of that happening. It's all hypothetical, but it's certainly a game where we could look at resting someone. Now, West Coast injury list is incredibly short. I've got 4 names on there. But believe it or not, those 4 names are Oscar Allen, Liam Ryan, Jake Waterman, Elliot Yeo. Like they're
almost their 4 best players.
Yeah,
they've probably been there. I'm trying to think, like maybe it could be their 4 best players.
It would be. Well, Harley Reid might knock on the door, but I'm not going to get into praising Harley on the Freo Faithful podcast.
Yeah,
now, Liam Ryan played on the weekend, so that cuts it down to only 3 on the injury list, and Alan Waterman and Yo are all out for the season. So basically, there's no one that might come back from injury. It's all about picking from the scraps. Exactly. It's all about picking from the scraps of the Waffle Eagles. Now, for the Dockers, Nat Fyfe likely to be named as a test. Alex Pearce likely to be named as a test. Cooper Simpson also likely to be named as a test. So we can probably lock in that Cooper Simpson will come back through the Waffle. I think we're just going to give Fyfe an extra week. I don't think we're going to play him at any level. And I've got a feeling Alex Pearce won't play at any level.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you play Pearce? I wouldn't.
No, I don't think he will. He's listed as 1 to 2 weeks, so he'll either be listed as a test or 1 week. We're definitely going to give him the extra week. I don't really see a world in which he plays.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but Brody played Waffle, Young played this week. So, say Simpson, Fyfe, and Pearce got off the injury list. That will only leave 2 people on the injury list.
Yeah, Riddle and Jones. Which, they're not exactly. All respect to Odin Jones and Aiden Riddle, because Odin Jones is very well respected within the club. I've heard he's rated quite highly, and Aiden Riddle, I'm sure, has got great promise, but unfortunately, they're not going to be a part of our 2025 premiership tilt. So realistically, it'd be a great result. Did
you go to say team then? Did you go to say team and change it to tilt?
No, I was always going to say tilt. I was going to say. No, we are winning it all, and I don't see another world. No. But I want to be humble for the opposition fans that might listen to this podcast if you've somehow made it all the way through. But yeah, I think we're going to get a few troops back. Like the Waffle team we named on the weekend was absolutely ridiculous, and they took it right up to a good East Freo team.
Cool. It's a loose use of the term good as well. But what annoys me about the Waffle? Why don't they have the Waffle game? Because obviously Peel's playing West Coast. Why don't they have it as a curtain raiser? It's on Sunday. Should be a curtain
really?
raiser.
They had it as a curtain raiser, I reckon, last year or the year before. I'm not sure why they haven't done it.
Only for Eagles home games, I reckon, as well. Typical.
Far out. Okay, so the Peel team that played against East Free on the weekend had Erasmus, Brody, Reedy, Dudley, Sharp, Aish, Narkle, Sturt, Davies, Draper, Murphy, Nichols. So that is the strongest Peel team all season. And as I just said, it took it up to East towards the top end of the ladder. They're going to get some more troops back as well in Simpson, most likely. Fyfe might go back through there. I'm not sure. But they're going to be very, very strong, and the selection push is going to be harder than ever.
I think Peel, like their capacity, as in Dockers players, they can play as well. So they're going to have to be Dockers players playing in reserves footy, which is a bit ridiculous. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see even in that aspect who gets dropped from Peel, which will give you a better. So I don't know who'll get dropped from Peel to play reserves, but there's team selection this week, not only for AFL but for Waffle. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But could you see Cooper Simpson playing in our team before the end of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to get him back in some way, shape, or form.
Simpson or Walker?
Simpson or Walker? Simpson. I'd rather Simpson in the team. I don't hate Walker, but I really like Cooper Simpson and what he brought in those 2 weeks he he played for us, particularly the Giants game. I look back on, our ball use off halfback was 10 times better than it has been all year with Simo in the team.
Yeah.
So I loved him in that game in particular. I'm just thinking, you were just saying that Freo players are probably going to have to be dropped down to the resis. Can you imagine the uproar if Will Brodie is one of them? it would be the all-time piss take from JL.
Probably the most interaction on the appeal post ever.
Oh, it would actually go viral. I reckon Cinch Footy and 7AFL would start posting about it. Will Brodie drop down to the reserves? Like, it would be absolute. Like, I like Wiz as a bloke, and he gave us a great season in 2022. But I don't know if it was rage bait last week, but you got a highly liked comment on the lineup post, replying to someone suggesting Will Brodie should be backing over Hayden Young. Now, I'm not sure what our fan base is.
If that isn't rage bait, that bloke needs his phone to be taken off him.
It was a concerning read, to be honest. I'm happy you stepped up to the plate and put him back in his place. But I'm going to assume that was rage bait, and nobody actually wants Will Brodie in ahead of Hayden Young.
No. I think the only way Brodie plays is Brayshaw and Serong are both injured. That's literally the only way. But
I think
why are we talking about Will Brodie?
There's a chance. If Serong's injured, Brodie's the first one in for me. I'd be the first one to say it. I think if Serong gets injured, Brodie's the first bloke I bring in.
Fair enough.
He's just the sort of bloke. Brodie, I didn't have a player.
Is he still contracted next year as well?
Yeah, he is.
Gee whiz. Expensive peel player, mate. But oh well, is what it is.
Oh, well, we're paying the wages for the Peel Thunder as well. Won a flag doing it last year, so it's a long-term strategy. If we want Peel flags more than AFL flags from the looks of things, we've gone on a massive tangent. I can't believe we've actually stretched it out to nearly an
This is what happens when you're in a good mood, mate.
So exactly right. Mood. Like if we lost, this would be a 20-minute. No, it actually still would be an hour. It would just be us crying over the game, though.
It would be ranting.
Yeah, exactly. So we got our Collingwood stuff out of the way. Probably our best win in 12 or so years. And now we've moved on to Liam Reedy and Will Brodie propaganda. So I think that's probably the sign to pack it up for today's episode. Zach, that was unbelievable. Thanks for joining me yet again.
No worries, mate. That was a great game. It was great to chat with you. And I hope all of our listeners have a fantastic week and go the Dockers.
Exactly right, mate. Up the Dockers. Stay across all the content on our Instagram at Freo.Faithful. 5 stars on Spotify. Hit the subscribe and like button on YouTube. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to try to push there before the end of the season. So if we can get 1,000 subs in our first year doing Freo Faithful, that would be unbelievable. I've sent a few comments asking where Drews is. He'll be back for the Brisbane game in round 23. He is currently on the inactive long-term injury list. And Zach had some good form at Peel early in the season, so we'll keep him in for a run of games, unlike Neil Erasmus. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. Up the Dockers.